Manchester, Co-op Live, has been branded co-flop after failing to open for a third time last night. Fans who'd rocked up to see rapper Boogie Wit Da Hoodie reacted with shock. Yes, that is actually his name. He's a really famous rapper. They were massively disappointed when the gig was called off just 10 minutes before the doors were due to open. And thousands more got the bad news that this weekend's planned Olivia Rodrigo gigs, I know, are also cancelled due to technical reasons. I mean, Denise wasn't going to see Olivia or the Boogie with the Woogie, but you are horrified.
Boogie with the Woogie, but our Geordie producer said, so anyway, it was cancelled because of Boogie with the Woogie. You know, the Geordie tribute act to this very famous rapper. Oh, he's going, I'm from Hartlepool, actually, sorry. Yes. Well, yes, because it is no longer Great Britain, it is late Britain, I have to say.
Big words there, Denzi.
Well, it's not just... I mean, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, it's really embarrassing. 3 times people have been disappointed. Olivia Rodrigo is a huge international star. There are people who have spent, I would imagine, months planning for this, flying in from abroad, booking all their accommodation, because they can't get their act together. I just think... I did a rant on Instagram yesterday. Not like me, I know.
Ranting?
Not like me. It was about a delivery. And I was, as the papers say, incandescent with rage as my nearly 80-year-old mother-in-law was there waiting. The postcode put it as 3 doors along and they wouldn't leave it. They wouldn't leave it. It was literally 3 doors along. Anyway, long story, but I was fuming. And I feel that's the only way sometimes that we can address things is by going public with it. My chairs were delivered, first world problems, I get it, but were delivered at 8 o'clock at night because I had kicked off. Somebody said in one of the comments, which were all in agreement with me, she said, I think that at the end of the pandemic, we were all put to sleep and we woke up to find that aliens had taken over the world and that everything had completely turned to... Nothing is working. No. Service is absolutely appalling. Yeah. There is no excuse for the fact that every bit of information you get, they say it's got to be stored on 79 million computers. If it is, why is it not working? Yeah. Why can't we just talk to people on a telephone? It is really, everything is worse.
The thing is, you can talk to people on the telephone, but they'll tell you that after they've spoken to you, can you go and do it online?
Yes, well, they will. And also, by the time you get to the person, you've literally lost the will to live.
That is true. So breathe, Denzi.
I know.
Breathe.
But it's just, I mean, that is absolutely appalling to, you know, I mean, I don't know what excuse that they're giving.
Well, they've said safety and security is our utmost priority and they share the disappointment and frustration of ticket holders.
No, they don't share it at all.
Well, I've got to say, I am always on time. In my mind. But you know what it is?
I'm always waiting for you when we're doing stuff.
Are you? That's annoying.
The thing is, you know, like, I think you're right. We are all over the place. We can't remember what year we're in sometime. Like, it's all muddled. And I definitely agree that, you know, services have just gone out of the pan. I don't know what's happened. A couple of weeks ago, I had a taxi and I was waiting for the taxi and the taxi was like, oh, this one has been cancelled and we're going to try and get you another one. The other one was get cancelled. Finally turned up and he was like, yeah, I'm at the end of the road. And I was like, OK. He's like, just wave when you come out the house. I came out the house. This guy was just sitting there. I was waving and he was just looking at me like, I'm not picking you up. I'm waving and waving. Then I'm walking down the road with my headscarf and bag, waving at this man. Got to the door was locked and he was just looking at me. And I said to him, hi, it's Judy. And he was like, oh, sorry. I said, I was waving. He said, oh, I didn't see you. I was on my phone.
No,
he wasn't on his phone. But I think everyone's just, look, people are just so relaxed. Everyone, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of backlog.
But Kelle, you told me a story not that long ago that's kind of opposite.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm a regular on the trains. And this particular train operator, I was going in to London for chemotherapy. And it happens once a year and it's really essential that I'm there for that particular time.
For your lupus?
Yeah, for lupus. And, you know, it's really important I'm there at that time, otherwise you miss your chair slot and then that's it, you can't have it. So I got there and they were like, I'm really sorry, the train's running 2 hours behind. I was like, no, can't run behind. I was like, no, not today, can't run behind today. And I'd spoken to a good few people, but no one was really helping me. And I was close to tears at this point. Because it's once a year that it happens. And I'd phoned the hospital, I'd let them know, they were like, the situation, Kelle, we won't be able to. And I was like, oh! Anyway, this lady came up to me from the train operator, and she came up and she said, are you OK? I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm really desperate. I need to get into London for my chemo treatment. And she went, I'm going to take you to the first-class lounge. I was like, oh, I didn't even know there was a first-class lounge in Liverpool Lime Street. Very nice. So she took me, sat me there, came back in 5 minutes and said, so we've arranged a taxi for you to take you from here all the way to London. I mean, how amazing is that? Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's always important we hear those stories, because for every sort of really rubbish customer service situation, there are stories like yours, you know? And for you not to make that chemo would have been absolutely devastating. And they obviously recognise that. So that's brilliant, the nameless train operator.